Let's talk about this concept of niching down. The riches are in the niches, which obviously tells everybody that we have no idea how to actually say this word. Now, this is a concept that has been around on YouTube for probably as long as YouTube has been alive. And the thing is that when this advice is given, it's either niche down, don't niche down, be a niche of one, be your own niche, don't have a niche. There are just so many different ways to go about it. And I honestly think they're all kind of wrong. Most creators don't fail because their content's bad, or maybe it's that they're not in a good industry, but it's because the way that they are actually building their niche in the long run hurts them in terms of growth and monetization. Niching down or being more specific in whoever you're talking to actually restricts your ability to grow. And whether we like to admit it or not, as a brand new channel, going viral is one of the best things that can actually happen to you. Not everyone can afford to do the riches is in the niches strategy because not everybody has years of experience, or they have $1 million accounts, or they've done $500,000 in a week with a single launch. Not everybody has that proof. Proof really comes in one of two ways. Either you have literal money proof, or you have massive followings and massive views. You either have the success that people want, or you have a huge following. If you don't have this thing yet, if you don't have huge amounts of proof and massive monetary amounts or huge transformations, you've lost 800 pounds, whatever this massive transformation is, if you don't have this to supplement that with proof, you have a larger following. And so riches in the niches, or not having a niche, all of these things, what they end up doing is they try to focus you in on finding a more specific type of person. And whether they're trying to find this more specific type of person, it's limiting your ability to go viral. So what I want to teach you guys today is a thing called niche stacking. And what this is going to do is this actually is not going to restrict your niche. It is not going to box you in. What it's going to do is it's going to help you to niche down, but also grab adjacent viewers or customers from other niches and bring them together, thus widening your total addressable market. Now, I know that sounds like a bunch of marketing, just hogwash, but it is the truth. And it's actually how I've gone viral, how Hayley's gone viral, and how a lot of our students have gone viral as well. And so today I'm going to teach you the exact way you can niche stack, so that way you can have a bigger audience and you can eventually sell more of your product and make more money. If we haven't met yet, how's it going? My name is Doug, and I help content creators to be able to grow their channels, but then also grow their income. And so we do this by selling digital products that we own, so that way we're not at the mercy of brand deals, cents, algorithms, or any other boss telling us what we can and can't do. My wife Hayley and I have built this business to 7 figures. We've both been on YouTube for over a decade, and we have over 1,000 students that we've coached. So this is something that we're pretty passionate about and we're pretty good at. So if being able to quit your 9 to 5 through YouTube sounds great, or building some type of side income through YouTube sounds awesome, or maybe even you just want some type of freedom so that way you're not at the mercy of your boss telling you when you can or cannot take vacation days, then be sure to like this video, subscribe, and also in the description, be sure to check out our free training on how we do it as a homeschool family of 5. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. The first thing that I want to talk about is why niching down used to make sense, but it's the wrong move. A long time ago, 2 or 3 years ago or whatever, YouTube used to be much more keyword focused. This was my jam. This was my game. Before being on YouTube, before doing influencing, before doing brand deals, before becoming a coach and doing all these things, I actually was a search engine optimization specialist. That was what I dominated, basically, was that space of SEO, specifically for Google, but Google's algorithm and YouTube algorithms were very similar, very keyword focused. And so the strategy used to be that if you can niche down and you can add certain keywords and certain modifiers to your search terms or to your titles or to your tags and put them in your description, then these niche keywords could be ways that you could actually find search traffic. People could search and find you, and then you could get views that way. That used to be a very primary strategy. And in some cases, it still is, right? In some ways, you can still be very keyword focused. People used to be able to build steady traffic over time just based off of a specific keyword. Like, I have a friend that I helped work on his channel a long time ago for fun, and he ranked for a term that was about how to cut circles perfectly with any tool, like how to cut circles from wood perfectly with any tool. And he got a ton of views from this single video. YouTube doesn't really work that way anymore, and neither does Google search. Like, search has just evolved so far past keywords. And so what that means is that content strategy has also surpassed the niche. And I want to explain this by looking at actually my traffic sources. So if we go and look at my most viral video that I have on my personal channel. So this video has 658,000 impressions over roughly 32 days or so, just about 32 days, and it's gotten 60,000 views with 7,000 hours of watch time. Now, if we go and look at my traffic sources, my top source is 76% is browse features, 16% is suggested videos, 2% is direct or unknown, 1.6% is other types of YouTube features, and then below that, 1.3% is YouTube search. Okay, so that is finding specific niche topics, not specific niche keywords that I would try to rank for to try to promote my video. Now, again, if you're doing content that's very like how to or gear specific, like if I were doing a light review or something like that, or a flashlight review or something like that, in that case, keywords would make sense because people would be looking at that specific product. But if you're trying to sell more, if you're trying to make more money than just affiliate marketing or sponsorships, you want to sell your own product, you want to have an impact, you want to build a movement, you want to change your life and others' lives, you cannot just rely on niche keywords. The impression funnel that shows here in YouTube Studio is a big reason why, okay? 653,000 of my impressions that I got in this time period, okay? 98% of those were from YouTube recommending my content. Recommendations on YouTube have nothing to do with keyword search. I just want to say that again. Recommendations have nothing to do with keyword search. Okay, YouTube recommending my content comes in two different places. It comes from the homepage or the watch page. Now, I know there's a way that you could try to bring keywords back into this. You could try to bring niche focused, niche down content back into this by saying, well, if I target certain keywords that other people might search, then eventually they might build this profile for the user that's searching a lot of the similar keywords, and then YouTube will promote my title or my video based on those titles if the keywords lined up. Potentially, like that is how it would work, and that is kind of a roundabout way of how the algorithm would work with keywords. But if you go to your homepage, like just go to your homepage, click on there and see what pops up, there's going to be no keyword similarities. And you're actually going to find channels that you don't subscribe to, channels that you do subscribe to, and a lot of shorts. At least at the time of recording this video, there's like a whole row of shorts that shows up. So what is all of this trying to tell us? This is trying to tell us that we need to move away from the keyword focused strategy. We need to move away from the niche down strategy, because this, in essence, when you niche down, what you're doing is you're boxing yourself into a specific set of topics and keywords. But what you should be doing instead is you should be broadening the keywords that you can target. You should be broadening the audience that you're targeting. But then you're going to say, but if I go too broad, I'm never going to find my ideal customer. And that, you guys, is where the idea of niche stacking comes in. So this is the term that Hayley came up with a while ago, and she talked about it in one of her videos. I'll have to link it somewhere and put it up in the description, or put it down in the description. But Hayley talks about this concept of niche stacking. Okay, this is not niching down. This is not niching up. Basically what this is you're niching down, but going broad at the same time by connecting to another niche. You are effectively blending two different types of niches. Okay, you're not going more broad, you're not going more generic. You're niching down still, but you're bringing another niche on. Therefore, I guess like counteracting the niching down, you're essentially widening your total addressable market while still focusing on a specific topic. It's just there may be overlap or crossover between these two topics. So you're layering two different types of niches. What you're doing is you're basically grabbing a specific type of position that you're focusing in on, okay? And let me just put this out there. Like, motherhood is not a niche. Fitness is not a niche. I actually want to call out a video that I saw by Alex Eubank Business, because the video is obviously how to find your niche as a fitness influencer. But isn't this funny how in this video it says find your niche, but it says how to find your niche as a fitness influencer, okay? A lot of people think fitness is already their niche. You guys, fitness is not a niche. Motherhood is not a niche. Self-help is not a niche. Those are all like industries. There's so much content on YouTube that those are all wide, generic categories. Fitness could be, talking about like peptides. Fitness could be natural, fitness growth. Fitness could be losing weight as a mom. Fitness could be getting in shape after 70. There are so many different sub-niches of fitness that fitness is no longer a niche. And the same thing applies for business, the same thing applies for motherhood, the same thing applies for like making money online. There's so many different sub niches. And, whether he knew it or not, this is exactly proving my point, is that finding your niche as a fitness influencer proves that you need to stack something else on top of fitness. Okay, so again, there's two pieces to niche stacking. There's your specific positioning that you're taking, which is like, who you are, who you're helping, what you're helping them with. And then there's expanded reach. I'm going to come out here from off the camera, right? And I'm going to pull over expanded reach. Basically, what you're doing is you're finding a similar niche. You're finding a similar vein of interests. You're trying to find overlap between what these people would watch and what these people will watch and tie that into your niche. You're trying to stack it on top. Okay, so let me give you some examples because I bet this sounds kind of weird. So for instance, my personal YouTube channel is about firearms. Firearms is a very wide and generic industry. There's so much that can happen within the firearm space, right? So there's like how to actually use them. There's the law of firearms. There is gear and equipment reviews. There's politics, there's like debates on firearms. There's so much that happens with firearms, right? So I'm looking at firearms in particular. And specifically, I'm gonna hone in a little bit. I'm gonna niche down slightly, right? I'm gonna look into potentially the conceal carry market, which is still pretty broad, okay? But by going and looking specifically at conceal carry, I effectively cut off anybody who wants to talk about like machine guns or the history of guns or 15 different types of guns that you'd carry or rifles or shotguns. I am essentially eliminating all of those from what it is that I'm talking about when I'm talking specifically about the concealed carry market. So to counteract that, to kind of broaden things out a little bit, I'm layering fatherhood into my content. Okay, a lot of guys that are out there that do firearms, they nerd out on firearms. That's exactly what they do. They look so far into that. Again, the gear, the equipment, how it works, how they operate, different types, the newest ones. But I'm going about it from a different route where I'm talking about fatherhood, responsibility, protection, raising kids, family. So I'm bringing in people who are interested potentially in protecting their family, but may not be as interested in firearms right away to show them and to help them discover this new niche. And so what that's actually done is that has actually brought people onto my channel that say things like, I don't have my concealed carry permit yet, but you've convinced me that I need one to protect my family. That, in essence, is how you can niche down but broaden your TAM through niche stacking. It's the same thing with Hayley and her YouTube business channel. Hayley has a motherhood channel. That's how we got our start, being full-time influencers and making all of our money from sponsorships and affiliates. And so that is kind of how Hayley became. But what we did was when Hayley wanted to push more of the business content, she'd start with the business, right? And she'd talk about YouTube tactics, digital products, course creation, and she would talk about everything that she could to be able to make money online. But the purpose behind that wasn't coming over from the side out here. Again, bringing in moms that wanted to make an income. It was motherhood blended content with business. And so Hayley wouldn't call out specifically, like how to do YouTube for moms. That's not how you niche stack. What Hayley would do is she would blend in the mom stories and the content into the videos themselves. Yes, there are times where we call out how to make money as a stay-at-home mom as part of her strategy, and that's when we're really honing in on who it is that we're selling for our product. But at the same time, Hayley can still go broad with her like niches to avoid if you want to be able to make money type videos, but in them layer in the motherhood aspect. And so what this does is that if there are moms that are way over here somewhere else in another niche, they're looking at how to make money as a stay-at-home mom. And Hayley's over here talking about doing YouTube and YouTube potentially as a mom. There's like mom undertones here. This mom that's looking to make money who may not have thought about YouTube before is now dragged into her total addressable market. Again, thus speaking to a specific type of person, but reaching into other niches and markets to widen your TAM. Okay, is this making sense, you guys? If it's making sense, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know how you would be niche stacking, what your thoughts are on that, the types of niches that you would try to blend, or how you would work this into your strategy. I'm more than happy to be able to talk about them. But it's not just us. We have students too that have done this. We've seen other channels do this successfully. So for instance, one of our students, her name's Lauren Mefford. Lauren started with us from zero, amazingly, like she just worked so hard to be able to make all this happen. But what she did is she blends routines, systems, like time management, organization, atomic habits type content, and she reaches into the biblical worldview or like the Christian motherhood viewer and blends them together. Because the Christian mom, she might be looking at things like maybe the Bible for inspiration on what to do, like Proverbs 31, but maybe they haven't seen or brought in enough of another type of learning to be able to blend with that content. Or it could realistically be the other way around, where moms sometimes are way too focused, and I think think this is one of the pieces that we helped her with in going viral. But moms are sometimes way too focused on the here in this world, right? Just what they're seeing in front of them. So they're too focused on like, what's my schedule? What's my routine? What's my kid eating? All these little micro decisions that they need to make, and it becomes very overwhelming and they burn out. But Lauren has actually pulled the biblical worldview and those types of viewers into this niche to be able to expose the like more secular, I'm not saying that they are secular, but more secular types of viewers, moms who have never thought about using the Bible for time management, and exposing that to them. Thus again, niching down, but then broadening her TAM. Ultimately, you're not trying to just niche down, and you're not trying to like pick out a specific type of person, thus shrinking your total addressable market. You're trying to pull people in from adjacent niches or industries or topics to make this happen. So what you want to do is you want to look at your niche and see potentially what other related topics or industries or video ideas would people have that where there might be some overlap between the two. Okay, it's not necessarily that it has to be a perfect match for either one, but again, I'm talking about firearms, and blending in dads, or Hayley's talking about YouTube and then blending in moms. We have Kiri from Transformed Homemaker Society. She's doing self-help and self-care with a biblical worldview, and she calls it Christian brain rewiring. So there are a lot of different ways that you can actually stack niches, but I don't want you guys to forget why it is that we're doing this. In the grand scheme of things, you don't want your YouTube channel to just be a hobby. Okay, you want your YouTube channel to be a bona fide business that you can then replace your income, replace your spouse's income, you can stay at home with. You can live off of this income, and you can flourish and give back to your kids, give them the experiences that you want to be able to give them. You want to have that freedom. In order to do that, if you want to make $1 million, you have to impact 1 million people. And that's kind of the concept here, okay, is that we are not trying to restrict impressions. If we restrict impressions by niching down too far, then we restrict the amount of views that we get. If we restrict views, then therefore we restrict leads. And if we restrict leads, then we're going to restrict sales. And that is not what we want to happen. So if you can broaden your TAM without losing targeting, right? Without losing the targeting of your ideal client, then you're not going to drop impressions as you create your content. So if you're feeling like your content is capped, or you're only getting a certain amount of views, you're stuck under that like 300 view threshold or something like that, or your impressions go up for a second and then they just all of a sudden flatline and tank. It's probably because YouTube has no idea of where to be able to place your content. Okay, YouTube doesn't know what to do with this topic. They don't know what to do with these keywords or the content that's in there. They're not exactly sure where to be able to place it. So one of the worst things that you can do is niche down even further. Instead, you guys should niche stack. So let me know if that makes sense. If you guys have questions or comments or concerns about how niche stacking actually works, let me know down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to be able to go back and forth with you guys. We also talk about it in our masterclass that I have linked down in the description. You can check that out. I'll also link Hayley's video down here to be able to talk about her version and her way that she looks at niche stacking, and she has some more examples that are in there too. But that being said, thanks so much to you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.